this is just going to be one of several major grants that could be awarded over the next few days.
That's exactly right. Yeah, the Biden administration has made their efforts to build a domestic semiconductor industry one of the core platforms of their economic plan. Very important for them. The CHIPS Act is going to have a big chunk of grants, about $39 billion in grants, as well as loans that companies will get. And the key chip makers are now beginning to get to the point where they can see how much money is going to be allocated for them. Samsung, of course, South Korean company, the biggest memory chip maker in the world. It has had operations in the U.S. in the past. It's planning on building a $17 billion facility in Taylor, Texas. And now this money, $6 billion, is going to help them expand even beyond that in the U.S. We also understand that TSMC, the Taiwanese chip maker that makes many of the most advanced logic chips, including for NVIDIA and for Apple, is close to getting some money too. So the Commerce Department is beginning to pick up speed after what was kind of a slow start in terms of allocating this money. Intel, also an American chip maker, of course, is planning on getting some cash here too. So they're beginning to move down this process of doling out the money that will help build this domestic semiconductor industry.
Yeah, that Intel package said to be over $10 billion. We're also hearing of separate money set aside for military chip use as well. Peter, do we know what these packages comprise of? Are they loans? Are they grants? Are they sort of financing guarantees? And does that make a difference for a company like Samsung?
Yeah, it is a combination of things. The grants, obviously, are the money that they would prefer to have at this point for some of these facilities. The loans also, at some point, you have to pay that money back. But there are some strings attached that have caused some hesitation from some of the companies. The Commerce Department has put some conditions on these processes, and that's part of the reason why this process has been quite slow in the United States compared to other places, particularly here in Japan. TSMC, which has most of its fabs in Taiwan, is building a plant here in Japan and then also is trying to build one in the U.S. It's gone much more quickly in Japan. They doled out the money very quickly. They got a lot of construction workers on site, and they built the fab in a very, very short amount of time. In the U.S., it's been much slower, partly because of the government issues, partly because of union issues and some other factors.
Peter, of course, this takes place amidst the ongoing tech rivalry, shall we say, between Washington and Beijing. Does this sort of funding, does the CHIPS Act give the US a considerable head start in terms of, ultimately not preventing China from being able to have this tech, but certainly slowing its progress down?
I wouldn't say it's a head start. I mean, right now you have most of the advanced semiconductors in the world made in Taiwan or in South Korea. The U.S. is not in the same ballpark as those two countries right now. China is investing in its own domestic chip industry. It's not as advanced as what a TSMC can do or a Samsung can do, for that matter, but they've been investing in older generations of chips, which they see as very vital to the economy. I think for the U.S., this is a strategic issue. They want to be able to have a dependable supply of semiconductors for some of the key industries, particularly the auto industry. You'll remember that the auto industry had to close down factories in the United States, in Japan, and in Europe when there was disruptions to the supply chain during the COVID pandemic. So countries are very concerned about that, and they're also concerned about possible increasing tensions between the U.S. and China over Taiwan, where so many of those advanced semiconductor fabs are right now.